like anyone should go to events anymore. I think everyone should just do VR chat meetups. I feel like every year friends will go and then they'll come back and they'll be like, oh man, I got stalked by 10 people and almost kidnapped 4 times. It was great though. And I'm like, I think you should stop going. Not like at the event, like outside of it, you know what I mean? And not because of the town they're in, but because of crazy people being around in town, you know? I don't know, man. Yeah, and they all get COVID. You're saying I shouldn't stalk my favorite streamer and ask for a pic? At the event, I think asking for a picture is fine, honestly. Because like they're walking around out there with their like name tag on that has the thingy and they're like IRL streaming, whatever. Like they're very publicly obviously there. Because like, don't they know what they're getting into? So I actually don't think that's bad. But if you're like not in the building that the con is in and they're like eating food somewhere, because that's what a couple of my friends said. They were like, if they're at the con and someone walked up to them and said hi, they'd be like, oh, hey, because they're there and they're ready for that. But there were some times where some of them said they were like eating and hanging out outside of it. And then like, it was just weird because someone would just come up while they're eating and be like, hey, and they're like, you know, like, they're just trying to eat food, you know, and it's just like not the time. Yeah, wow, they're just like us eating dinner. Whoa. Yeah, it's just time and place kind of thing, but a lot of people don't have that. I think a lot of people would have that restraint if it weren't their most favorite person. You know, they see someone else doing it and they're like, whoa, that's weird. But then when it's their favorite streamer and they see them, they're more excited than they are self-aware, right? And like it wins out and they're just more likely to do some weird shit. I think most people mean well and they don't realize they're doing weird shit. Genuinely. That's at least my guess. Some of them are fucking weird, but I think most people are not trying to be, you know? So I don't know. It just feels like a recipe for disaster, dude. No thanks. A lot of the time it's an overexcitement thing is what I'm saying, right? Because people will also be quick to like, because it made them feel weird, they're like, that person was weird. And I'm like, were they weird or were they overexcited because they would never see you in person except at here and they finally did, right? Right? I think for a safety issue, a lot of these VTubers should hire security for themselves. I mean, not just VTubers, but though I do, you know what? Yeah, there is more of a thing with that, right? Like people see streamers that face cam and they're used to seeing them. There's no mystery there. It's just, oh my God, I've seen that in person, right? It's just a celebrity-esque thing, like, oh, I'm seeing them in person, but you're used to seeing them. The VTuber, it's more of like a cryptid, right? Even if they do show their face, a lot of them wear a mask all the time, or you'll like, it's more rare that they'll go to things. So I think people get more curious and they get weirder about it. They get way weirder about it from what I've heard, like the stories that I've heard. I don't know. I really think, yeah, they should have security. I think they should. And if you can't afford it, then don't go. That's just my thought. Like you should hire security if you want to go. If you're going to go and it's going to be expensive and you're like, oh, I don't want to hire security, then do not go at all, because I wouldn't think putting yourself in danger is a good idea. Because I don't know if you guys know, but at another con, a VTuber went to a Japanese con and someone who's been stalking her for a really long time. Actually, there were 3 cases of this in the past year. I don't know how many of you guys know about. There were 3 cases of this where people have had longtime stalkers go to events and bother them. 3 that I know of in the past year. So like, you've seen it enough times. Like, I understand sometimes you might not know that you have a stalker until something finally happens, right? So maybe you're a little less alert. But if you know you have one, I feel like we're at a point where people have to start like going like just loaded up with security or not at all. You know, I don't know, it just makes me worried about people, like very worried. A lot of cons will take security more seriously if that person has already been there, they have a file on them, whatever. But if you just go to a con and you're like, hey, I have a stalker, and you just give them a picture, like there's not really much they can do there. Some of them will take it seriously and throw the picture around to their people and be like, oh, I'll do this, whatever. But for the most part, like it's not really gonna work. You need to have your own security detail that's familiar with you and the people that follow you and all that kind of stuff, right? So I don't know, like some cons will try harder at least than others. Some of them won't try at all. Some of them will just be like, if there's an issue, we'll step in, which means that someone has to do something bad before they'll step in. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it's not preventative, it's reactive. So I don't know. It seems like every year there's like a new story or 3 of stalking. Yeah. Or yeah, Corgi. That was one that I heard some people were saying last year at some events. People kept giving streamers, but especially VTubers, gifts. They would give them merch like plushies and things, and they had AirTags in them, a few of them. Someone I know said that she was walking around and someone at some point slipped an AirTag into her bag, directly into her bag, straight in there, just walking past. She just noticed at some point, she was in the bathroom looking through her bag for something and found an AirTag in there. And she was like, it's a good thing I didn't go back to like my hotel with it or something, like, you know? Yeah. They added a feature. They added a feature with the AirTag, so this can't be done anymore, because if a new AirTag has been within range of you for a long time and your device has never seen it before, and you've never, or not even never seen it, your device has never been linked to it, your device will alert you and be like, there's an AirTag on you. Is this yours? You know? Thankfully, that strat doesn't work, you know? But it was added because of shit like that, you know? I don't know, dude. I just hope people will be more secure. I know a lot of people that I know have said that they're a lot more aware of these things, and you know, they're gonna be taking a lot more precautions, which is good. This VShojo screen gifts. Oh yeah, 100%. Anything that gets sent to any of us for any reason gets sent to them first, and VShojo, upon request from us, will like fully look through it if we ask. They'll check through absolutely everything. They'll open packages for us and then repackage them to send back out. They'll do everything at their office. So yeah. Now, I don't even have a spot where people can send me stuff. I was like, hey, never accept anything for me unless I tell you it's incoming. Like, that's it. You cannot mail something to VShojo and be like, mail this to GEEGA. It won't happen, because no. No, thank you. If you want to gift something, you can do it straight through my channel. And if there's something that I could use for stream or I could fund, whatever, I'll do it myself. I'm not accepting physical items. No, thank you. I think the chance of something happening is not even that high. I think for every like time something bad happens, there's a lot of good. But I don't like the non-zero chance. So I'm just like, nah, no, thank you. I'd rather not deal with it. So why do I get the feeling a lot of this doesn't happen to male content creators, VTubers, or at least not often enough to hear about it? It does still happen a lot, actually. But the difference is, for a lot of, there's both on both sides, but for a lot of the female creators, it's more like dudes thinking they can be with them, or like trying to like, it's a control thing. That's what it is. I'd say almost 100% of the time, it's a control thing. And then for dudes, it's like more straight up haters. They're just like jealous of them, and they're like trying to hurt them for that reason. You know, it tends to lean one way or the other for like male and female creators, but it happens to both for both reasons, you know? Yeah, male and female stalkers tend to operate differently. True. The gender of the stalker, I think, is the thing that affects how they operate more than the gender of the person being stalked, from what I've seen. But it happens. All of it happens to everyone. So I don't know. There's also a lot of situations that happen to a lot of people that they'll never talk about, either for legal reasons or because it's just like not a story they want to bring up, you know, or they don't want to bring attention to it. They want to keep everything all chill, you know, they don't want to worry people, whatever. But for every story you hear, there's probably like 10 you don't hear about. Straight up. Don't want to bring it because it gives the stalker power. Not power. No, it's not that it gives them power. It doesn't actually give them power. It's any attention at all, which is emboldens them, right? Or we could just not stalk people. Well, most people that get really deep into it are unwell in some way. Just in some way they are unwell, and just telling them don't do it forehead will never work on them, because, you know, there's something going on that is not good. Either they are mentally or emotionally not well, usually. So they, you know, whether it's like maybe mentally they're fine, but emotionally they're not, and they develop like a horrible attachment because they're in a bad place or something. You know, it's like there's usually something happening where like reason will never work. Reason will never work on these people. I remember that, Maki. Yeah, you had someone else's female fan stalk you, find your personal YouTube channel because she was jealous that you were close to a male VTuber that she donated a lot to. I remember that. I remember you telling me about that. And I remember sitting with you and trying to figure out how they figured it out so we could make sure it was like, we shut that shit down. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've had, you know what really makes me upset sometimes for other people is I've had some friends, they keep their stuff locked down so they're fine. So they don't get found or bothered or messed with or whatever. So the person is like angry that they can't get at or get to this VTuber or whatever, right? So then what they start doing is going after chatters that are like super involved in the community and trying to go after them because they can't let it go. So like the person and their mods will all be locked down and good and they can't get to anyone. So then they'll be like, okay, who's a chatter that they answer a lot? Who's someone they hang out in VC with, right? And they'll like start going after like other community members. Oh, dude.
Seems a gifted a tier 1
weird
sub to
sometimes.
Tarnate.
But yeah, so all of you, lock your shit down. You'll think that no one will ever look for you. Be like, oh, I'm just a viewer. Like people have that attitude. You never know, okay? You just don't know. I don't think stuff like that will happen often at all. But just be careful. Be careful, okay? Watch the fuck out. Wait, are you doing this to us? I don't have the time. If I was unwell and I wanted to, I couldn't. So you're safe from me. That's something I will say though. Oh, I want to mention this to you guys. Sometimes when you use a PayPal, to buy things for a streamer or send them money, that PayPal has some sort of email attached to it. And the creator sees that email. I just want you to know that, okay? Now, I don't go pouring through every single email and read all of them and go look it up, but like, there are plenty of people that direct dono with an email that just is the same as their username or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. Some people, it's like first, last name at hotmail.com, you know? And I'm like, ooh. And it's next to their username sometimes. It's like, here's the user on Twitch. Here's the email that they used to pay. And I'm like, oh. Now, I'll never do anything with that, but you shouldn't trust me. If you do, that's very nice of you, but you should always assume that everyone could be on some freak shit, you know?
Welcome back.
And just lock your shit down, man. You always think things won't happen, and then something finally does, and you're like, oh my God, surprise Pikachu face. And I'm like, hey, it's not that you should act like something could happen because you actually think it will. You should be aware of the likelihood still being very low of some of these things, but it could. And if you're doing something and there is a non-zero chance that could end up bad, you should know that, right? Yeah, just take care. Exactly.